Okay, video number 22. Now we're going to be getting into, you guessed it, the flag. So I've got my hat on. I have a pin too that I wear sometimes on my suits and stuff like that. I've got my hat on. I've got my desk flag right here. I've got my big bad boy flag right here. And we're going to be going over flags. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, flags, whatever. Now, flags are a symbol of communication, and the way in which that they are flown, the type of flag, the color of the flag. I mean, there's all sorts of different communications, right? And it goes back to old school maritime, with boats and ships and stuff like that. What kind of flag that they, if they took over a boat, they would literally fly a flag that says that it's been taken over, and it's like really, really, really interesting technology, right? So let's get into it. So we've got point number 22. The American flag that you see everywhere is actually owned by the International Monetary Fund and has been since 1944. Now this, I've actually learned some things recently that I'm not totally sure on this. It was owned by the International Monetary Fund up until maybe 1999, 1998. I haven't looked into all this stuff too much, and we're going to go off on a bit of a tangent here. So there's a guy here named Russell J. Gould. It's this guy right here. Let me see if I can get some more pictures of him. Russell J. Gould, right? This dude apparently is the flag, what do you call it? Postmaster General. So he actually filed some papers and stuff like that in the 90s, and he was actually able to gain control over the flag and thus gain control over a tremendous amount of political power. He does have a documentary called Last Flag Standing. It's really cool. It's interesting. Russell J. Gould and another guy named... who was the partner with David Wynn Miller. David Wynn Miller. So you'll learn in the documentary Last Flag Standing about David Wynn Miller and Russell J. Gould. They worked together to get the flag back out of the bankruptcy sometime in the 90s, I believe. And Russell J. Gould is the new owner and controller of the flag, I believe, up until even present day. He's the Postmaster General, which means basically, as far as I can tell, he's basically the most powerful political person on the planet. And when it comes to American politics, no one knows this, but basically that means he is the. I'm not totally sure on this because it's just a lot. It's a bit above my pay grade, but as far as I can tell, he's basically the tippy top most powerful individual in the entire de jure government. So he basically runs the whole show on the de jure end. I don't know if he works with the UAS or whatever that we saw earlier. I don't know where exactly it all works. I just know that he's an extremely powerful person. He's on the de jure end of the spectrum. A really good guy. Super cool. You can check out his documentary. Now him, Russell J. Gould, and this other guy, David Wynn Miller. David Wynn Miller is deceased. He died in 2018, I think, something like that. David Wynn Miller, he says that he's a 92nd degree Freemason. I don't know. He says a lot of things. I don't know a super ton about him. I know that when I try to watch him on YouTube, it's a bit much for me. So I haven't really been able to consume a lot of his information. This is the main YouTube video that you can check him out. It's this one here when he's talking here. It's like a 6 or 7 or 9 hour YouTube presentation where he's just going hard as fuck for 9 hours or 6 hours. So it's a bit of a tangent, but I do want to explain a little something here that might be of interest to you. So what Russell J. Gould and David Wynn Miller have created together is something called parse syntax grammar. So basically, like as you're learning the terms and the grammar and the all the stuff in law is all like super complicated, and every single definition is the same as every other definition in terms of importance, and it's just kind of like this big giant clusterfuck, and it's super confusing, right? So what Russell J. Gould and David Wynn Miller did is they created an entirely new legal system and way in which to contract and communicate. It's called the quantum parse syntax grammar solutions, right? Basically what it is, it's supposed to replace this entire fucked up system that we see now. And he's already contracted in with the UN, and he's already taken over control of the flag, and he's the Postmaster General, and he's already done a whole bunch of like court-martialing. And it's a really interesting, like total underground, like massive operation that's going down that I don't know a whole lot about. But basically parse syntax grammar, if you care to get yourself involved in this to a great degree, you can learn more about it. It's basically like the new way in which contracts and law will be written. And I believe it's already been like signed in and taken on, and I don't know all the details. I believe it's already like been fully taken on by a whole bunch of countries and a whole bunch of places, and it's going to completely handle and clarify the entire legal world. I find it to be over my head. I find it to be something that I'm not particularly interested in getting into too much at this exact moment, but I'm absolutely positive at some point in the future I will be getting into this and studying it in great detail. But if you're interested in checking out these guys and learning more about him owning the flag and the rights to the flag and what that means legally, because the person who owns the rights to the flag, there's a lot of laws and things like that only that person has. So it's a very interesting political position that he has. You can look up lastflagstanding.com. He has Watch Film. Here's the documentary. You can watch that. It's an hour and 34 minutes long about us. Disqualifications. Fictitious grammar, outdated words. So he's talking about the new system that he's putting in, arrest warrants that he's issued, I guess, involving being the Postmaster General. Evidence. Again, I haven't looked into all this too much. Blog videos, I don't know. I'm sure there's probably correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, performance. So he's basically created almost like a whole language, so to speak. It's not really a language. It's more a really ultra specific way. So here we have correct sentence, structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, performance. So he's breaking down every single word and what it means. So the definitions of the word and the grammar of the words, it's basically a full breakdown where every single word has one specific definition, as far as I know, and you're basically using a contract system where there isn't this like super loose, vague system that anyone can easily corrupt. And it says here, contracts control the usuries of our daily life performances. Everything from how we operate at work, on an airplane, or social media, at the DMV, our doctors, all the way to the gym, school, and bank. Contracts written in quantum grammar allow us to control our world. Contracts using quantum grammar convey facts using correctness, sentences, structure, parse, syntax, grammar, and performances. Claimants with a claim of the life enjoy the benefits of using quantum grammar to control the contracts of their life. Claim of the life. Nativity claim on your birth. Purchasing claims life. You're getting claim of life contract, postmaster, startup technology, Claim of life. I don't know.
I'm going to show you how to buy a claim of the life and what knowledge, and knowledge is power required to have, which is what we are using.
I don't know what this is. It looks like some sort of de jure birth contract. Quantum grammar birth contract. Children of the world, access pass, Australian flag templates, get a tutor, start of your postmaster journey. I don't know. That's why I haven't gotten into this too much. He, I hate the fact that he uses so many words that it's just so difficult to easily and rapidly understand almost anything he's saying. It's such a shame, because I know for a fact that there is a lot of freedom here. And I know for a fact this guy is really, really, really involved in some of the deepest, most intense shit to clean up everything and your rights. And what I'm talking about in this course, I know for a fact, like he's like the upper level of like regaining your life and regaining control of everything and being outside the system entirely. God, everything he writes is just something that I just cannot easily figure out what he's trying to say. And it's just... Anyways, this is something that, you may want to check out more. Last Flag Standing documentary, Parse syntax grammar, David Wynn Miller, Russell J. Gould. That's a side note, okay? So, the flag that you see, the typical American flag, that's actually a wartime flag. So, American flag. This is actually a wartime flag. This means maritime war flag, okay? So what that means is that, technically speaking, let's say, for example, if you fly this bad boy in front of your home, what you're saying in that communication is you're saying, this is a war zone, and if there's any soldiers in the area that need a place to garrison, they're welcome inside my home for garrison purposes. Now that's a little bit tricky, because when you fly this flag and you're communicating that could communicate in strange ways, meaning like that could communicate as tacit consent that police can go into your home or your property. That could be all sorts of different things. So what you actually want to fly and what you want to have is like what I fly. I have stickers on my door. I wear my hat often. There's pins. You want to wear what's called the civil peace flag. That's this one, obviously. That's the one that I have everywhere. This is basically a peacetime flag for people that are living in the land jurisdiction of the actual physical land. And it's not a maritime flag. It's a peacetime land jurisdiction flag, human flag. So, I don't know why he has this one. Oh, he's the one who regained control over the wartime flag. So, you can, let's see here. Civil peacetime flag. That's the real on the land flag. It's often people often say it's a flag used by tax protesters. Okay, that's just a hit piece thing that they use. That's a true American flag used for the land for constitutional live human beings that should be identified as state national. So the state national would have a civil peacetime flag like the one here on my desk, like the one on my hat, like the one on my wall, okay? The American flag that you normally see with a gold fringe, which is what you see on police officer uniforms and that kind of thing, that is a martial law wartime flag. So you see that in a lot of the courtrooms. You see that in police officer uniform. This is exactly why the country is constantly at war. It allows the president to rule the country by executive orders. They want to keep that going, which is why we get into so many wars, hence the gold fringe. We are technically under martial law and have been for a very long time. Okay? Now, There's actually a declassified Army regulation book called Flags, Guidance Streamers, Tabards, and Automobile and Aircraft Plates, right? Now, you can go into all sorts of definitions. So every single flag and every single placement of the flag has different definitions. Care of flags, replacing the flags, disposition of the flags, the history of the flag, branch colors for flags, insignia for U.S. Army centers, flag carried with other flags, flag displayed in groups with staffs radiating, flags on the wall, flags at half staff, folding the U.S. flag, flag placed on an open casket, closed casket. You've got, let's see, all sorts of flag related information, right? And this is just for the Army. I'm assuming there is other ones for different military. I'm assuming there might be one for the Marines. There might be one for the Navy. There might be one for the Air Force. There might be one for other. This is just for the Army. I don't know if it's also for the other military forces. You have a vessel flag, signal, transportation, commanders. You have a airfield vehicle flag. You have a convoy flag. All sorts of shit. And in this, you can just type in, I think I typed in like Army flag book or Army flag manual. And you can go through and you can see U.S. flag carried with other flags. What does it mean? When the flag of the United States is displayed with foreign national flags, all flags will be comparable in size. The flag staffs or flag poles on which they are flown will be of equal height. The tops of all flags should be equal distance from the ground, right? You have U.S. flag displayed in groups with other staffs radiating. You have U.S. flag displayed in center of line. What does that mean? You have U.S. flag displayed crossed with another flag. What does that mean? When do you do that? Displayed against the wall. There's no fringe. I'm sure somewhere in here it explains the fringe and when the fringe is used and why. You have, during speaking, half staff. It is first hoisted to the top for an instant and then lowered to the half-staff position. There's a reason why they do that. Placed in mourning. I'm sure there's other sections where they have to... U.S. flag with crepe streamer. Lowering and folding. The folding of the flag. Open casket, closed casket, why? Prohibitions. Use and display by civilians. 4 USC 7. So if you went into 4 USC 7, position and manner of display. So there's an entire section of the U.S. code that goes into flags. So just realize that, and this is actually regarding civilians' display of flags, I believe. So, yeah. It's very, very, very specific. I mean, flags are practically a religion in government. So keep in mind, types of flags, the way in which they're start looking at different types of flags, start looking at the colors, the fringes. You can look up what they mean. I haven't gone into all this stuff too terribly much. I don't really see how it really affects my life too dramatically at this particular moment in time. I just wanted to bring that to your attention that the flag is owned. It's an owned asset by... It was owned by the International Monetary Fund, and I believe in the 90s is when Russell J. Gould and David Wynn Miller got their hands on it, and then David Wynn Miller passed away. So Russell J. Gould is the owner and controller of the American flag, and he's also the creator of the parse syntax grammar system. So there you go. That I think that pretty much covers that. I'm not going to get into any of this stuff any more than this. I simply wanted to bring it to your attention. I hope that's been helpful. And if you want to look up more information about all of that, then you're more than welcome to. I've given you all the resources. So I will end this there because this does not necessarily pertain too much to the breaking of your contract. So that's why I'm not going to get into this much more than this. And I will see you at video number 23.